Hello and welcome back to a new era with Arsenal Football Club on the FM19 beta, and this is episode 2. Now, if you joined me last time, we played was it Wolves in the league? We did go through a lot of stuff, intros and in the intro, so stuff like transfers, tactics, that sort of stuff. Now, unfortunately, I had a bit of a technical issue last time, and I lost. I mean, it was halfway through. It was one recording. I did it in one recording take essentially, and the second part of it just didn't save the audio for whatever reason. It saved the game sounds, I think, and the mouse sounds. Today we've got the North London derby against Tottenham, as you can see across the top. But what I'm going to do, where the stuff we got missed out, I showed you a lot of the stuff, but you obviously lost what I was saying about it. So I'm going to go over what I can recall as what we lost now in this episode as well. But we'll also look at what we've done in the meantime. So we've played a few games offline, and yeah, so we'll discuss the Wolves. That was it. The commentary for the Wolves game actually went missing, and the what else was it? Yes, there's transfers, the Wolves commentary. So we'll have a little chat over that. I think if I can remember too much of it, it was a couple of days ago now. I think the game came out on the Thursday, so I did that one. Tried to record last night, fell asleep on the sofa before I got a chance, and woke up at 5 AM this morning in the same spot pretty much, with everything ready to go, just no recording done. So we start again tonight, Saturday night. The wife's downstairs recording, watching Strictly or X Factor or some other crud like that. So I've taken an opportunity, so I've come upstairs. I've never recorded upstairs, so I've just come upstairs here to do it. So it might be a slightly different ambience or sound or acoustics here. It might even be better, who knows. Probably is actually. So transfers, we'll just scroll down the club. Obviously, the obvious ones have been made this season. So like Torreira's in, Lichtsteiner's come in. So who have we signed? So no particular order, just sort of squad order really, rather than the order we signed them. We signed Matheus Vecino from, I think it was from Inter Milan. He signed from Fiorentina only a year before. We signed him for the same amount of money, and it was when we were playing the 4-3-3, I think it was. I needed a specific box-to-box midfielder, someone who could really, or sort of cover anyway, certainly. Ramsey can kind of do it, but it was more cover, or maybe someone who could just do it a bit better. So we signed this guy for 21 million. We're now not playing that role, but we still need midfielders. I'm getting a lot of reports from some of my players saying that we need more strength in midfield. I think we're more than adequately covered in midfield, certainly with what I've added in this summer, on top of what Arsenal signed. Really, obviously signed Guendouzi in midfield, Torreira in midfield. So I think we're more than adequately stacked. In fact, I think we've probably got one or two many. We might have one or two. Maybe we need someone a bit more defensive. Maybe they're all a bit more the going forward variety. But that's the Arsenal way, isn't it? Sign the attacking players. So the second one is Rafinha, injured already, as you can see. So he was on the transfer list at Barcelona. I thought he was just a bit of an obvious guy to sign, really. Again, he can play in the midfield. He can play in a couple of the roles we're looking at. It was probably more so when we're looking at the like I say, the 4-3-3. He probably fit in that a bit more than the 4-4-2 we're playing now, and we've actually stuck with that for the games. We'll go through those shortly. He's got two negatives: lack depth in midfield, and wants to be part of a social group of interest. Well, only you can manage that, mate. You can go and talk to people. The other one, lack depth in midfield, like I said, it's not true. We've got an abundance of midfielders. Look at our midfield. It's absolutely stacked. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, we signed him for, how much did we sign him for? 13.75, which I think is an absolute bargain. He was at Inter Milan on loan last year. He's an absolute quality player. I think he'll do well here. And if we can get him maybe playing in a few different positions, there's a possibility I might play him as a alternative to Mesut Ozil, who's sort of playing off the striker at the moment. Kind of the Dennis Bergkamp of this invincible style 4-4-2 tactic that we're playing. The next signing was Roberto Pereira. I wanted someone who could play these inverted roles on the left, kind of in the Robert Perez kind of mould. Someone who's going to play on the left, but kind of tuck in, create from the wide positions, and just cause a bit of havoc for the opposition. So we signed him for quite a big fee, 28.5 is that? I think my eyes are a little bit, I haven't got my glasses on. I'm supposed to wear glasses for the computer, but I'm just reluctantly not doing it lately. He signed for Watford 10.5. They've got a year out of him, 2 years out of him, and they've more than doubled their money on him, or tripled their money nearly on him. So, and he's done really well for us. 2 goals in 3 games already. which one of those I'm pretty sure, or maybe both of them, are in one particular game, which we'll go through in a minute. It was an absolute crazy game. We'll have a look at it. In terms of the outs, so Martinez went to Lyon. We transfer listed him, got quite a bit of money for him actually. We sold him for 7.75. It's raising a fair bit. He's not good enough. We've got enough goalkeepers. We've got Czech, Leno. We've got the Colombian guy, I can never remember his name, coming back off loan from, I forget, Napoli. I think he's gone to. I'm quite tired today. It's been a long day. Been down the farm with the little one, and it's just absolutely knackering. But yeah, so he was an obvious one to go. Brought a bit more transfer money in for us to do what we needed to do. Cole Jenkinson's gone on loan to Derby. We do actually have them in the Carabao Cup. We'll discuss that a bit later on. We'll have a look at that. We had the draw. Obviously, they got Man United in real life, and I think they knocked them out, didn't they? Or took them very close, certainly. I think they won on penalties. Tried to get rid of him. He wouldn't go, so had to loan him out. They're paying 30% of his wages. I tried to get a bit more, even 100%. Weren't having it. They stuck with 30, so I thought that was, well, the next best situation, really. And then Emil Smith-Rowe, we had him in the first team, but I think he just needs a bit more of a guarantee of first-team football. So we've sent him to Preston. They got decent facilities, enough to get him to progress, and he's out there. He's playing a fair bit. He's doing all right as well. Quite a good average rating. 5 goals, 5 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists. Playing very well. So one for the future, definitely. So we've spent 63 million and we've recouped 7.75. I'm sure there's a few more as I will, but as I mentioned in the first video, I will be progressing this save a little bit. Anyway, we rejected Leeds. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. What else did we need to discuss? I think that was all of it. On top of today as well, we've also got the Europa League draw. That's now, and then I've got the Tottenham game, so we can do a little bit of cutting. I can test, make sure the audio's working now. Otherwise, I have to start again. So we'll have a look at the Wolves game very quickly. So here's the Wolves game. It was a very tense game. We were playing the 4-4-2 at this point, and we'd sort of changed that in pre-season. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the episode. I think we did. It wasn't going too well. It was getting by, but we weren't really convincing, and there's a few results started going a bit shoddy. So we switched to 4-4-2. It worked wonders. Okay, it was maybe against some of the lower teams we had in the pre-season, but it worked well. And against Wolves here, we had the best of the match, most of the possession. We had 24 shots, 12 on target. So 50% of our shots on target, which isn't great, but it's not bad. We limited them to just 4 shots, 1 on target. But it took us the 88th minute and Alex Iwobi to get the goal. And obviously you saw the goal in the last episode, so we won't go back on that too much. But yeah, we deserved to win, probably by far more than we did. But the main thing is we did get the win, and Iwobi picked up man of the match as well. So we'll go and have a look at the games we've got on in the league since. Now, following that up, we had an away game at Liverpool, and this game was absolutely insane. We were 3-0 up and cruising in the first half. Aaron Ramsey on the 9th minute. They did actually have the best of the first sort of 10 minutes, really, but we sucker punched them, got a goal. And then 3 minutes later, Aubameyang grabs one to make it 2-0. And then just before half-time on the 38th minute, Pereira got one on the 38th minute, to make it 3-0. But the second, and then actually, no, just before half-time, 2 minutes later, they did get one back through Firmino. But at that stage, I was still thinking, nah, there's not a problem. Nothing's going to happen here. 3-1, we still look comfortable at that point. But the second half just came, and pretty much all barring one of our shots on that stat probably came in the first half. It was only when we got the 63rd minute, the 83rd minute, I think it was. No, it was the 53rd. So we actually went to 4-1. 4-2? 4-2. Firmino scored in the 50th minute and we made it 4-2. I still felt we were cruising, but then Robertson picked one back at 76, and from that moment on we were just clinging on for dear life. But cling on we did, and we did just enough to win the game. Fortunately, we made a few subs, made a few changes. They were a little bit of just a last gasp to try and put some fresh legs on and just steal the result, really. Luckily we did, and we took a famous win at Anfield against a match we weren't really expected to win. No Salah was playing. He's not even in the squad, so I assume he's injured. Shaqiri came on, he made a bit of a menace of himself, although his average rating doesn't reflect that. Firmino had an absolute... they took him off. They took him off for Daniel Sturridge. Wasn't long enough to do anything, really. And then when Wijnaldum come on, didn't do too great either. But all in all, it looks like we didn't deserve the win, but I think we did. The fact we were 3-0 up and cruising, it was just that second half they came out regrouped and came at us. So we had one more game before today, so we'll look at that now. And it was Fulham. A 3-0 win, emphatic win, a bit like it was in real life in the Premier League. Just recently beat them, was it 5-1, I think it was. Much the same here. So we got goals from Pereira, so he scored again. El Neni picking one up, and Lacazette late on off the bench got one in injury time. They didn't really trouble us, a bit like Wolves, but this time we had less shots on target, but we did manage to convert 3 of them rather than the 1, and not put ourselves under quite so much pressure as we did in that game. That leaves the table looking like this. So we are in third. Southampton are currently top. Man City second, us third, all on 9 points. We are the only teams with an unbeaten record so far. There's a couple who have drawn. Chelsea and Man United have drawn as well, but we're the only 3 that have won, obviously, all our games. But by virtue of goal difference, Southampton do currently find themselves sitting on top. Aguero's top goal scorer, Harry Kane's in second place. I'm sure this used to show 3 positions. Maybe I have to have a little tweak with that. Maybe it's something I did last year. Assist is Mora, Cedric for Southampton. We don't really feature on any of these lists, but we're here. That's the main thing. We're third. So, yeah, that Fulham sitting bottom, Everton and Palace prop up the table with them. Cardiff just outside, but it's still early days. I'm sure the table will change drastically in this time. So let's go and have a look at the draw, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's today. It is indeed, and we are seeded first, as you would expect, being a recent sort of Champions League team and going quite far in the Europa League last season. Was it semi-finals, I think, lost to Atletico Madrid in the end. Bit disappointing not to go out winning that. Was it the final? I'm fairly certain it was the semi-final. Last season just a bit of a blur for me. By that point, it was such a dismal season for Arsenal last year. By that point, I was just hyping up for the World Cup, and England is even my main team to follow. But I was just ready to go for the World Cup. I was done with Arsenal at that point. I knew Wenger was going, and just sort of building up for that really, and was just more interested in Football Manager at that point, getting my save out and going. So what we'll do an automatic draw. Actually, it's quite a long save, so we'll just get the first. Ludogorets first seeds, that's interesting. Sporting Lisbon, Basel, Villarreal. So we're in Group E. Lazio are out. One for Ted Redwood game in there to pick it up. I'm shouting him out a lot in my series at the moment, but he just seems to be relevant to a lot of them. Obviously, he's managing Lazio and particularly Ravel Morrison. Hasn't played for them just yet in our version of the game, but we'll chuck a scout on him. Why not? See if we pick him up and get him to do better than what Ted can. Anderlecht, Besiktas, Bayer Leverkusen, Sevilla, Olympiacos. Is it just that's all the groups. So from here on out, we'll just do an automatic draw. We'll let it play through. And we get Osijek as well from Croatia. So not a bad group all in all. Atalanta, third seeds, are probably the toughest opponent in it, I would say. This group got Red Star Belgrade, and they get Vorskla. We know very well from Shakhtar last year. Be interesting to see how Shakhtar get on in this series, actually. I presume they're in the Champions League already. They must be. We see how that affects the schedule. Has the game's been plugged in yet? No, they haven't. But as you can see, we did get Derby in the Carabao Cup. We're away to them in a couple of weeks. We have got Tottenham today. We'll have a look after the game, see where we're going to come back. But we need to skip through to the 1st September. It's only one more day, so we'll come back for that game shortly. So just before we jump into the Tottenham game, we are on the day, but it's not quite there yet. We have a couple of news updates. Another achievement unlocked. Top of the class, I think it was, which I assumed was manager of the month because nothing else has literally happened. But Iwobi gets player of the month. 3 appearances, 2 goals, average rating, very good. I thought Aguero might have got it with his 4 goals in that month, but Alex Iwobi grabs it. Playing very well for us as well, actually, so far. We've got, manager of the month. Pep Guardiola comes second, obviously, and Sarri at Chelsea, who have actually they've played one more match than us because they've literally just played on the Friday, beat Southampton, and they've kept their their 100% record going. They are top of the league now. Obviously could change if Southampton win today. I'm surprised Southampton's manager is Mark Hughes, isn't it? I'm surprised he isn't in this mix as well, above us even perhaps, but we've nabbed it. I'm not sure how. I mean, I guess we've beaten Liverpool. I don't know if the other teams have maybe beaten easier teams. I don't know, but I'm not sure. Can you see? No, it shows obviously ours, but not theirs. But we're not too worried. And we got a press conference on the Europa League group. So what we're going to say here, what was your reaction? I think we're having a great chance of progressing. That's pretty true. Going a bit slow today, I'm not sure why. Draw for Carabao Cup rather kind, much against Derby, considerably weaker. I don't think that's quite as well, treatment was only good any other opponent. Chelsea has been teams represent England in the competition this season. How do you rate your chance of an English winner? Um, yeah, I think English football has a chance. As good as any, there's a few Spanish teams in there, a few Italian teams perhaps have a good chance as well. I mean, it's a tough group, but I would still expect them to do well and be a threat. Atlanta, your toughest opponents? Yep, I think that's what I was saying in the little conferencey bit in the actual draw. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. And one more click should take us to the Tottenham game. It doesn't, but we're nearly there. As you can see here, the Premier League is the top spending league in Europe by quite some distance, 213 million. Liga 1, which I assume is the French league, it is second on 95, Bundesliga third, Spanish La Liga is back in fourth, and Serie A in fifth. High spending clubs, that's in Europe, so we are with 63, Man City just behind. 63, that doesn't include all the transfers that were made prior to the start of the load up of the game, so Torreira is not included, so we'd be higher up in that as well, I'm sure, but there's other clubs that would be above us, I'm sure as well. Man United would probably feature in there, I'm pretty sure. I think they spent quite a lot this summer. There's a few others, I'm sure, anyway. But one more click, like I said now. Yeah, here we are. We're at the Tottenham game. So what we're going to do, we're going to we're going to go to match preview. We're going to opposition reports. So we're expecting them to play with they signed Stepanenko, who we know very well from our Shakhtar days. So Tottenham did actually spend money in this transfer window. They didn't really. Danny Rose playing left wing. Dele Alli playing on the right. Ericsson. Very strange. Eric Dyer's in there. Ben Davis at left back. Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Aurier, Lloris. Interestingly, they're not expected to be playing Lucas Moura, who's got the most assists in the league. Let's have a look at their team. Is he injured? Trippier's injured. Moura's injured. Okay, that would explain that. Song Heung-min is on international duty. I think he's in the Asian Games or something. I think they won that, didn't they, South Korea? Anyone else we need to think about? So Aurier's on the bench. Okay, this is looking very different. Lamella's out there. Ali's on the left. Alderweireld playing right back. I'm not sure what's going on here. We're not too sure what to think at the moment. Opposition reports. That's kind of what we were just looking at. Stat packs. Probably not too much to look at just yet. We're going to put Xhaka in for Vecino, I think. And I think that's probably about it. I mean, this is probably as strong as a lineup is going to get. I mean, in terms of transfers, if we get to January or maybe next season, if we play another season on this channel on the save, Elneny, he's playing well, but maybe someone a bit more there. We perhaps, I think Pereira is actually supposed to be over on the left, ideally, but where we've not got Mkhitaryan to play on the right, that's kind of made that decision really. So maybe we need a natural wide midfielder a bit better out here, but Pereira's been playing very well, so I can't really say too much. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to submit that team. So yeah, how are they going? Are they going as we expected? Yeah, they are. So Danny Rose up on the left, which is very, very weird. I assume they just got a few injuries. Anyone on the bench that could have maybe played there? No, not really. So I think that is the problem, but he's he's an attacking left back, so I'm sure he can do a job there. Dele Alli, I'm sure, wouldn't have been starting wide right. Yeah, so we're going to get into this. Our first North London derby as Arsenal manager. We are attacking. It's the Arsenal way. We're going to drop in a team talking very passionate, and we want one from the fans. Give these fans their money's worth. Hector Bellerin didn't like that. We'll just see if we can get a bit more green going. Go passionate. Hector Bellerin's looking stressed. It's Derby Day. How much you look forward to taking those rivals? Always a tremendous occasion. That's just the one question. I'm pretty sure we have switched to key highlights now from extended, so they're going a bit quicker. We are still in 2D as well. And that half has absolutely flown by and nothing has happened. Very equal. They've got us in the possession, but shots are very equal. So we're going to go assertive and say far from pleased, because that's what the assistant is kind of saying. I'm going to go with Baldy. We need to buck up our ideas a little bit. We need to get a few more chances going. Iwobi, you need to find the left back there. It was on, but they've cut the highlight out. Now I'm thinking, do we have a little bit of a focus on Stepanenko here and just try and take him out of the game a little bit? We may need to take Pereira off. The only problem is I haven't got a right midfielder on the bench. Ozil dropping deep to get the ball there. Finds Iwobi. He's been great. He's got player monk. Oh, that's a terrible shot. Just seeing if he could keep up his recent form, and stats are still dead even. There's nothing to choose between the teams at all in that respect. We do win the ball. Maitland-Niles. Oh, that's a terrible pass back to Kane, and he's punished it. the youngsters come on and his first touch is to make a mistake and just grant Kane an open chance, basically, a chance from nothing. So we win the ball back. Maitland-Niles, no pressure there really, and he just the tamest to tame balls back. Kane is just there to poach it and bury it in the bottom corner. And as the game sort of just peters out here, it looks like we get a corner at the death. Oh, if Holding could have nabbed a draw there. But it looks like it's going to be our first dropped points and our first loss of the season, and it's to arch rivals Tottenham. That's the end of the game. All that for that. What a waste of time. We lose the game 1-0. Probably a draw. I mean, at the end they had a few more shots, and a bit more possession. But I think a draw was probably the fair result. But we couldn't get it away from home. We're going to go and say we're going to be assertive. Far from pleased with what we just saw. I don't think we created enough. Neither teams really did. We cancelled each other out. This is the big thing. 6 days to 2 weeks. It's another injury for Pereira. Now, I was planning on maybe trying to squeeze in 2 games, and that would be in a quick game. I was even more tempted, but I think with the extra having to tag on the stuff from episode 1 that got cut out, I think this is going to be a long enough episode as it is. So we'll leave it at the 1 game. Let me know if you do want to see 2 matches rather than 1 in my episodes going forward. Obviously, last year with Shakhtar on FM18, it was always 1 game. It was mostly Champions League, obviously, but it was always 1 match, a little bit of talk, and then on to the next episode. If you want to see 2 games, might be a little bit longer, or if I can cut the games a little bit more to make them a little bit shorter in terms of the footage and do whatever, then let me know. In terms of the next episode, I think we will probably go... I mean, Atlanta's going to be the toughest game in the group, so I think we go with Atlanta, and I'll maybe... If we look at maybe 2 games, I'll maybe tack Burnley in there as well. We'll play Brighton offline, and we'll go for these 2, I think. I still need to work out, before the full game comes out, how long it's going to take me to get through a season or 2 seasons or whatever, so I'm going to try and plan it a little bit more. But I haven't done that just yet. I'll do that maybe next week. I've got the game loaded at work now, and I've got my editing software loaded at work, so I can do all that during my course of my day at work when it's a bit quieter, and get my rendering done, which saves me an absolute bundle of time, hopefully. So if you enjoyed this episode, please do drop a like. If you're new to the channel, please drop a sub while you're there. Keep up with all my FM19 content. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to have some other stuff coming out. I've still got my Championship Manager coming out. I'm probably going to try and record one of those shortly. I've got a lot of experiments planned for this year. I think I did talk about that at the end of the last video, but that obviously got cut. So yeah, I'm going to record one of them now. The rest of them require me to have the editor, which I haven't got yet. I don't think it's in the beta. I think you have to wait for the full release. So as soon as that comes out, I'll get the editor, and I'll be cracking on with some of those experiments. I've got some good ones planned. There's a couple I can do. I've certainly got one I can do. I've got to run through. I've got another one in mind that I need to actually, which could actually be a fairly longer running one. But I just need to actually get the game to get me to that stage and let me do it. So I'll do that. I'll do that at work probably, and just let it run. So yeah, until next time for the Europa League against Atlanta and Burnley, I will see you later. Take care.